Good morning to all viewers and dignitaries. Uh, in Geological Survey of India, uh, we are doing number of works for natural disasters, and I will talk how the geoscientists are involved in this natural disaster part in Geological Survey of India. Uh, we'll discuss on GSI's contributions and roles, products that are available for use in natural hazard studies at GSI, and technology innovations, what we are using at GSI. And GSI's contribution, what are the GSI's contribution? Nodal agency responsible for providing basic fundamental information to the country. Then we have completed geological mapping in 1:50,000 scale for about 90% area. And we are the nodal agency for landslide studies. And we have done a lot of work in national landslide susceptibility modeling. I will come to details on that. And then we are working on earthquake, seismotectonic, macroseismic, geodynamic studies, and also on glaciology and coastal erosion. So these are the four main parts where Geological Survey is working continuously. So I will tell in brief what we are doing in all these four domains one by one. Landslide, maximum landslide you can see 4.2 lakh square kilometer area in India is landslide prone. And there are varied environments, complex failure mechanisms, and India contributes to about 8% of global landslide fatalities. So we have taken a lot of initiative for these landslide studies, and we are trying to develop a number of models and those things. Then what tool already we have? We have already completed national landslide susceptibility mapping for about 4.2 lakh square kilometer in most of the landslide prone areas in Himalayas and South India like that. And till March, we have completed 3.57 lakh kilometer. And our target is 4.2, and most probably within 2 years or by that time we can complete our target. And all these data are freely available in Geological Survey of India portal. You can see this data in portal, and there are a number of polygon maps, and we could assess about 25,184 landslide in field, and those inventories are used for our modeling part. And this is a type of landslide analysis modeling. What we are doing, anybody can download these shape files from the GSI portal that is in GUPOS GSI. And you can go through these hazard zones, where is the high hazard, moderate hazard, and low hazard zones. Then what technology we are using in landslide study? We are mainly using the GIS technology. We are developing a number of layers because landslide is a complex phenomenon, and we need number of layers to be studied: geological, geomorphological, and climate, and all these things. And we combine all these things by GIS modeling, and we are mainly using AHP modeling, and there are also other testing models we are using. And finally, we are coming out with a NLSM that map. That is the main technology. What we use is GIS platform, by which we are integrating all these layers, and the number of layers, and that layers needs to be integrated based on the different models and the resolution of the models. And what technology we have? We have a very good camera with us, that is laser studies we do. And here we can, because in Himalayas, most of the places we cannot directly approach for mapping and those things. So we are using this laser technology, and this can see up to 4 kilometers, and this can uncover the vegetation, and we can see the actual what is happening in the land, and we can map that. So these are the laser technologies what we are using. And we are also using INSAR for real-time monitoring of landslides. And these are also in the process, and you can see the map and how we are doing work in field. There are reflectors we have installed, number of, and these are mainly in the Darjeeling and Nilgiri hills. So these things we are doing there. And we have recently initiated our um, landslide early warning study, and we are in the now experimental stage. We have already started giving bulletin to the Darjeeling district authority and Nilgiri. We are planning to give from 1st August, and these are all in the experimental stage. And this is a work which has been carried out by international research collaboration with UK and Italy. That is a very famous landslip project, and we are a part of that. We have developed the model. Now the model is under validation, and hopefully that will be operational by another 5 years, because this needs a lot of validation. Unless validating, we cannot go directly to public. But for validation, we are giving daily bulletin to the state authorities, so that we can have a very good validation data, and we can develop a very good model for this. Within 5 years, hopefully, we can complete this within 5 years, and that will then will be in the operational mode. And another thing is that these are the two areas we have taken for our study, but these will be gradually expanded to most of the areas, and these are all regional studies. Okay. Then in earthquake, landslide, briefly I told what GSI is doing. Then in earthquake also, we are engaged for a number of uh, activities in India, because there are a number of zones, there are zone 5, zone 4, zone 3, zone 2, and there are a number of active faults. And recently you have seen that a number of small magnitude earthquakes are coming. So we are also actively involved in these earthquake studies. And what we are doing, before that, I'm telling what we are actually doing. We have developed a very good seismotectonic atlas, and which is also in the public domain. You can see it in the GSI portal, and you can download the seismotectonic map, different layers, and this map shows the total geology of India, structural details, then all the faults, whether it is active or non-active, and most of the major earthquake locations. These are very, 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 very primary documents which need for number of planning, say dam, or there are different planning activities for these maps are required, and these are of very high demand. And GSI has it was launched in 2000, it was launched in 2000, but that time it was in analog, and gradually from last year we have developed the digital part, and now practically we are using all these IT infrastructure to disseminate our knowledge through our portal. Then we are engaged in seismic microzonation study. Seismic microzonation, we have covered a lot of areas in seismic microzonation. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, absolutely clear. You're
We
audible.
Okay. But I cannot see why it has gone.
So maybe, sir, when presentation is online, maybe you won't be able to see yourself, but we can see we can listen to your voice, and we can see the your presentation also.
We have already completed 39 cities microjonation. These are all we are doing in 1:25,000 scale. What these microjonation maps are required? Why these are required? Because by this map, we can understand which zone is which area is more vulnerable for earthquake, if any earthquake happens within 300-kilometer radius of that area, which will be the more problematic zone, which will be the less problematic. And these are very much required for planning urban cities and those things. And we have already completed 39 cities for this microjonation, and 9 ongoing projects are going on. And this is a typical work we have carried out in Port Blair area, where we have done seismic microresonation as well as tsunami different scenario, how the Port Blair will be affected during tsunami, if any tsunami or if any major earthquake occurs. And then we have combined and we have prepared a multi-hazard assessment. This type of maps helps the administration to take decision where to have the establishment, how to plan, and like that. Then, hello. Then active fault studies. We have done a lot of, because this most of the earthquakes that comes from the active faults, the faults where they are active. So we have mapped about 38 active faults span India, and we have categorized the all the active fault criteria, how to monitor it and those things. Then we are doing micro earthquake studies after almost every major earthquake, and also active fault studies. This is what you can see in the screen. We have done this micro earthquake study after the 2015 Nepal earthquake in the Indian part, and more than 250 small events you can detect within 40 to 50 days. And then another thing is, after every earthquake of 5+ intensity, we are doing the damage intensity survey, that is macroseismic survey. So this is a very important information needs by the governments, local authorities, so that they can pay the compensation, whatever is claimed from this macro, what is the damage intensity. Accordingly, we do these things for every earthquake when it is crossing 5 magnitude. And this picture, whatever you are seeing in screen, that is for Nepal earthquake. We have done this, and the contours also, you can see the macroseismic contours, how that is behaving, gradually lowering towards the south of Indian mass. Then, for the earthquake, it's very difficult to predict when it will happen, the earthquake. But we can nicely demarcate the areas where the high strain concentration is going on, where the probable earthquake locations. That we have started. We have started a permanent GPS network pan India. We have planned 35. We have planned 35 permanent stations throughout India, and out of the 30 is already working, and another 5 will be installed within a very short while. And this will help us to generate the strain map throughout the India. And from this strain map, we can delineate the areas which are more vulnerable for future earthquake. So this is a very important aspect which GSI has taken in task. And for all these stations, we are using the high-end IT technology. We are having our server and all the data coming to the server on real-time basis, basically. And then we are processing this data, and gradually we'll develop the strain map. Then we comes to the glaciology field. Glaciology also, we have done a lot of work, and still the works are going on. What we are doing, what tool already we have assessment of glacier resources, completed more than 9,575 glaciers throughout the Himalaya. Then glacier regime studies, assessment of glacier mass balance, glacier dynamics, measurement of water discharge, suspended sediment, etc. These things we are doing. Then climate variability, spatial changes in glacier as climate change is also reflected in fluctuations. Then societal glaciological studies, that is GLOF, glacier lake outpost, and we are mapping a few globs, probable globs, and we are engaged like that. And we have monitoring about 976 glaciers in the last 100 years. We are engaged for a long time for these glacier studies, and it has been shown that most of the Himalayan glaciers are passing through a marked phase of recession. Not all, but most of the Himalayan glaciers they are recessing. That indicates the climate warming up of global climate and more threat of loss. So we are engaged on that. Then what we are doing right now, what are the projects we are doing? Ongoing programs. These are long-term monitoring of mass balance of Hamta Glacier. Here you have in Hamta Glacier, you are doing this work for more than 20 years. Then repeat monitoring of glaciers in Bhaga, Bees and South Chilla Valley, Himachal Pradesh on expedition basis. Study of recessional pattern of glaciers in Sheop Nubra Basin and updation of inventory of Himalayan glaciers based on remote sensing multispectral data. Here we are using latest remote sensing data, and we are getting the data from NRSC, and we are doing all these things. Modern technology we are taking into account. And in the lower bottom, you can see the lake area. This is a glacial lake. What we have mapped during 2007 is nearly 6,000 meters square. And when we see in 2019, it has increased to 78,000 meters square. So you can see the melting. You can just make the idea how the glaciers are melting and this type of lakes are forming. And that will be a real threat for the downstream if these lakes burst. So we are also doing this glacial bluff type of study. So after this glaciology, I'll come to the coastal hazard part. Here also GSI is doing some studies, and we are engaged for a long time for this coastal monitoring, and we have seen that mainly in West Bengal part, the erosion is maximum. When you come to the western part of the India in Gujarat coast, accretion is maximum than that of erosion. So these parameters we measure for the number of years, and this is the result you can see from here. Then these are some pictures what we have seen taken from the West Bengal coastal part. Digha coast is eroding, and Bokhali coast is eroding, and there are a number of coasts which are eroding, which I have seen in the West Bengal that is mainly erosion is more. I have already told that I have 1 or 2 slides, and you can see in Bay of Bengal, the sea erosion is there, and sea level is rising. These we have done this work, and these are the different roles and contributions of GSI. You can see it for the coastal and sea level change, and the technology innovations what we have done in GSI. Mainly the coastal part, we are monitoring the coast through very good state of the art technologies. And with that, thank you. I think I have covered the time, so I have to limit my discussion. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we have a question for you.
Yeah.
This is Sikkim State Disaster Management Authority has constituted committee for ground study of 10 identified vulnerable glacial lakes in Sikkim. GSI is one of the members. Hope GSI would provide the field experts for the team job, where one member are from CWC, CDAC, etc. And there is one more question. How has the coastal erosion data collected by GSI been validated? Is it satellite data?
No. We are in coastal erosion. We are doing the mechanized boat survey, and that also combined with the satellite data. And what is the earlier question?
So it was more about the glacial lake team building. So would you be taking CDAC and other authorities also along and share your expertise on that area?
Yeah. We are already in the Sikkim state team. We are already there in Sikkim state team. We are interested to collaborate with anybody.